In this lecture, I am going to explain about cell. Organisms display an immense diversity of form and size, but they have same basic structure and processes. They are all made of one or many cells. The cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of all organisms. All cells are closely similar in gross structure, molecular organization, and in certain basic activities. The discovery of cell was done by Robert Hooke. The credit for discovery of cell goes to Robert Hooke. He worked on cell and first time he observed a honeycomb-like pattern in a very thin slice of cork. The honeycomb-like structure was made of enclosing box-like compartments. He used the Latin term cellulae for little compartments with hollow space synonyms to what he called cells. So, we can say that the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. As all the organisms are made of cell forms cell forms tissue forms organ to system, and system to body. Thus, all the living organisms are made up of cell, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, and all the functions of human body and all the living organisms are also performed with the help of cell. So it is basic structural and functional unit of life. Now the major discoveries about cell. Firstly, Robert Hooke discovered the cell in 1665. Now Leeuwenhoek, he discovered living cell in 1674. Leeuwenhoek used an improved microscope and discovered the free living cell in pond water. Then Schleiden and Schwann, they combinedly gave cell theory, which was further expanded by Virchow. Now about cell theory. Cell theory was given by Schleiden and Schwann, which was further expanded by Virchow. So main characteristics of cell theory are: all the living organisms are composed of cell and their products. Cells are the basic unit of structure and function of living organism. All cells are basically alike in chemical composition and metabolic activities. Further, this theory was expanded by Virchow. He said that cells come from other cells, means all cells arise from pre-existing cell. Some of the drawbacks of cell theory are also there, like viruses. A connecting link between living and non-living cannot be explained by cell theory. Now, different types of cells we can see in this slide of human body. The shape of cell are determined by the cell environment and cell activities or metabolism they perform. Some cells may be unicellular, some organisms may be unicellular, some may be multicellular. Different simple and complex type of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic type of cells may be there, which further I will explain. So in this slide, we can see different type of cells of human body, like muscle cell, bone cells, blood cells, nerve cells, etc. In the next slide, we will know what are cell made up of. Actually, many of the components are found in the cell. The basic components are cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. Cell membrane is the outermost membrane of the cell. It is selectively permeable membrane. A prominent structure is found in the cell, which is known as nucleus. All the functions of the cell are controlled by nucleus. A fluid jelly-like structure is found in the cell, which is called cytoplasm. In cytoplasm, different organelles like mitochondria, plastids, chloroplast are found. Further, we will discuss about that. Right now, we are going to do plasma membrane, which is also known as cell membrane. The plasma membrane is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the content of the cell from its external environment. In eukaryotic cells, intracellular membrane are present that surround the vacuole and organelle called subcellular membrane. The term cell membrane was coined by C. Nageli and C. Kramer. Now we will get know about the functions of plasma membrane. All biological membranes are a thin film-like elastic membranes. The plasma membrane is flexible and is made up of organic molecules like lipid and protein. So it is also known as lipoproteinous in nature. So plasma membrane is helpful in maintaining the shape of the cell. Basically, the main function of the plasma membrane is it helps in the transportation of the substances by different phenomena. So here major two phenomenon I'm going to discuss, which is done with the help of plasma membrane also, that is diffusion and osmosis. First, diffusion. Diffusion is the spontaneous movement of a substance from a region of high concentration to a region of its low concentration. In this phenomenon, semi-permeable membrane is not required. Some substances like carbon dioxide or oxygen can move across the cell membrane by diffusion. Now, secondly, osmosis. Osmosis is somehow like diffusion, but in osmosis, semi-permeable membrane is required. So the movement of solvent molecules. In this slide, you can see the solvent molecules by the small dots. So the movement of solvent molecules through a selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. In organisms, the solvent is invariably water. Water also obeys the law of diffusion. The movement of water across the plasma membrane is also affected by the amount of substances dissolved in water. Thus, the passage of water from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration through semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. On the basis of amount of solute and solvent, different type of solutions may be there. These solutions are isotonic solution, hypertonic solution and hypotonic solution. So first, isotonic solution. Iso means same. So when concentration of solute on both sides of cell membrane are same, then the solution is called isotonic solution. And hypertonic solution, hyper means more. So when concentration of the solute in solution is higher than intracellular fluid, it is known as hypertonic solution. And hypotonic solution, hypo means less. When concentration of the solute in solution is lower than intracellular fluid, then it is called hypotonic solution. As plasma membrane is selectively permeable membrane, so it controls which type of substances will enter into the cell and which will not. Different type of membranes may be there. Permeable membrane means if a membrane permits movement of solute and solvent molecules freely. Semi-permeable means if a membrane permits movement of solvent only. And plasma membrane is selectively permeable membrane if a membrane permits specific solute particles along with the solvent freely, then it is called selectively permeable membrane. So different type of phenomena will be there when we place the cell into different type of solution. Here we can see that if we place a cell into the hypotonic solution, then water molecules are free to pass across the cell membrane in both directions. But more water will come. We can see the arrows. More water will come in comparison to water which is leaving. So the net result is that water enters the cell and cell get swells. This process is known as endosmosis. Means water is entering into the cell. So this is also known as endosmosis. Now the next type of solution is hypertonic solution. In this solution, water again crosses the cell membrane in both directions. But this time more water leave. You can see the water by arrows which is leaving the cell. More water leave the cell than enter it. It causes shrinkage of cell. So this is also known as plasmolysis and also called exosmosis because water is leaving the cell. So this is known as exosmosis. Now the next type of solution is isotonic solution. Water crosses the cell membrane again in both directions, but the amount going in is same as the amount going out. So in both directions, same amount of water is moving. So there is no overall movement and the cell remains constant with its size. Now easily we can differentiate diffusion and osmosis. Both the phenomenon equalizes the concentration of two solution. But the major difference is in diffusion, no semi-permeable membrane is involved, but in osmosis, semi-permeable membrane is required. In diffusion, solvent and solute particles move to equalize concentration, but semi-permeable membrane is not required. And the same phenomenon occurs in osmosis, but semi-permeable membrane is required. Diffusion may be in the case of air and water, with both it can be, but in osmosis occurs only with water. Thus, we can differentiate both the phenomenon. Now, a quick recap of the lecture. A small worksheet is there. I'm going to explain. First question is define cell. So, cell is the structural and functional unit of our body. Who proposed cell theory? Cell theory is proposed by Schleiden and Schwann. Further, it was expanded by Virchow. The characteristics of cell theory also you can write here. Now differentiate diffusion and osmosis. Right now, just now we have done this. In diffusion, movement of substances occur but without semi-permeable membrane, and in osmosis, semi-permeable membrane is required. Osmosis occurs only with water, but in diffusion it may be with water and air. What happens if we place resins in distilled water? In this case, water enters into the cell, so endosmosis takes place, and the net result will be that the cell or the resins swell up. Now, why cell is called structural and functional unit of life? Yes, cell is known as a structural and functional unit of life, as all the bodies, all the living organisms are made up of cell. As I told you, cell forms tissue, then organ, then system, then complete body. And functional unit also, as all the basic functions of our body are performed by the cell. That's all about the lecture. Thank you.